What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at a boy DSP's daily rap video after the 15-year Beggacy marathon, which was not fruitful whatsoever. That's right, boys. If you guys saw any of my content yesterday, well, you would notice one little thing. You barely saw any content whatsoever from me. Why? Because it was just that terrible. There was really nothing to report out. There was really nothing to clip. Just a couple segments, of course, like feasting with the Cowboy and him just being obnoxious about the whole drinking and tipping him to drink. And that was about it. I mean, Phil just spent the whole day patting himself on the back and essentially saying, hey, I've been here for 15 years. I deserve this. I'm sitting back and I'm going to wait for the money to roll in. And it just did not happen for Phil. So let's see what Phil has to say on the Daily Wrap.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Saturday, the 26th of August, 2023, also known as my 15th anniversary party special. Man, what a day. It was a long day. There was a lot that we did. It actually flew by, which I didn't expect that time would actually pass as fast as it did, but it absolutely did. So what went down today? Well, first of all, we had a fun level 1 podcast that I thought maybe would have been shorter, but ended up being pretty much normal length, covering all kinds of topics, Q&A and the like, explaining the ground rules of how today's marathon was going to work, celebrating my 15th anniversary as a YouTuber. And it went pretty well in that regard. And then as soon as that show ended, we all hightailed it over to DSP Reacts. And today on DSP Reacts, we did a lot. First of all, support was outstanding. As you can see, I have a vest behind me. People opted to have the original vest in the shot, but not necessarily be worn. Since I was wearing a nice shirt, people liked me wearing this shirt today and didn't want it to be covered by a vest. So the original vest made an appearance. People were, doing everything. Super chats, memberships, tips, everything. And it was really, really appreciated that people supported my event today. But outside of that, we started off with an hour-long recapping of my origins of becoming a YouTuber.
Okay, that's some straight up cope right there on Phil's part. So you guys already saw and reported out that Phil pulled in $386, which of the $386, what came in, 275 of that 386 came from 3 people: 1 Minute Man, Lisa Lou, and Dan the Man. And that was in the form of 2 tips. $200 tips, and 1 Minute Man came in and doubled his daily tithe to $40. $275 out of the $386 came from 3 whales, Phil. You expected way more than that. And the reason why I say that is because you were hyping up the event for months, first of all. The second thing, too, is that this was a milestone event for you. A 15-year party, as you like to claim. And you spent the day essentially telling or trying to convince people why you deserve the accolades, why you deserve the praise, and why you deserve their support. And you counted on it. The mere fact that you really didn't plan anything for this event, you basically just said, hey, we're going to just chill, we're going to relax, and we're going to watch old clips of mine, told me everything I needed to know about this event. You expected the people just treat this like a birthday party where people just come in, praise you, drop money, and just be on their way. That's what the expectation was. And the mere fact that you wasted all that money on liquor, on 4 different liquors, and expected that, okay, tons of people are going to want to come in, dents of the past are going to come in and drop some big money on me, so I better be prepared. So I better have a bunch of options for people to to look at and pay for. Your expectation that this was going to be a huge $1,000 event. You probably thought Game Checker was going to come in and drop some money. You thought Jinx was going to drop some money. You thought some of the older dents that haven't been around, like Timbo and those folks, were going to come in and feel nostalgic and drop some big cash on you. And that just did not happen whatsoever. Even one of your big pay pigs, Emil, all he could do was come in and muster up a $5 member bomb. And that's all he could do. So support was just straight out abysmal. And the mere fact that you spent the whole day trying to push people into tipping you $100 so that you would take a shot says it all. And you guys can catch my video where I kind of did a highlight of all the times he brought up the alcohol and the drinking and tipping, and it's pretty pathetic. Like, you could clearly see that he was frustrated that people didn't take him up on his offer. I mean, to the point where he was telling people, hey, if you really want, I'm fine with getting wasted and playing Street Fighter. That's how desperate Phil got with wanting more support.
Because, 15 years later, a lot of people might know all about me today, but might have forgotten how I actually got my origins. Because, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it was not whatsoever anything to do with wanting to be a YouTuber at all or doing this for a living. It was something that I just decided to do as like a hobby or a side thing, and it blew up with popularity. And at a time in my life when I was at one of my lowest points, getting laid off unexpectedly from my office job, it was something that I attempted to do and excelled at. So pretty crazy how I kind of just fell into doing YouTube, while a lot of other people's stories these days are, oh yeah, so I wanted to do it full time and I did this and I did that. Never was that ever my plan. At the time that I started, no one was even doing YouTube for a living. So pretty crazy, right? The story. So about an hour, I recapped my origins as a YouTuber, and then we jumped into reacting to your favorite moments that you had nominated over the course of the last 3.5 weeks. We started off with member stuff and did reacting there for about an hour. Now, over the course of today, the way that it worked was I was going to have some drinks that basically, if you did like a $100 tip, I was going to take a shot of some sort, and I had 4 different kinds of liquor, including rum, orange liqueur, bourbon, and tequila. Originally, we did a shot of tequila, and then I was going to make this special drink that was going to have coconut rum, pineapple juice, and some of this orange liqueur in it. So I made that drink, and as I started to drink it, I realized I put way too much liquor into it. It was like super duper strong. And I was like, well, let's see how this goes. And the thing is, we only had basically 2 tips high enough that we would have had shots. So over the course of drinking that drink and the shot, I was already really buzzed. So the whole first hour of me kind of reacting to clips was me super buzzed reacting to them. So hopefully, I don't think anything bad happened because no one told me anything did. And then it was time for dinner, and my wife made quite the spread, including slow cooker barbecue chicken, homemade mashed potatoes, homemade cornbread from scratch, and baked beans. So I had a big meal on camera, and then we ended up with almost 3 more hours of reacting. We actually got through almost every single nomination. There were a few nominations we couldn't watch because there was some copyrighted music in some of them. One of the videos was the South Park Stick of Truth moment that we have watched together like 5 times already, and people didn't really care for that. But for the most part, a lot of DSP tries it. A lot of fun stuff was covered, fun gaming moments. And so it was great. Almost 4 straight hours of reacting, plus the background video, plus the food. So by the end of the day, everyone had a great time. All right. So I just want to say thank you. If you attended live and just stopped by and said hi or whatever, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate those who came by to celebrate my anniversary with me. Okay. I'm going to upload that content slowly over the course of the week on DSP Reacts. I am not going to upload all that content all at once. Okay. What I think I'm going to do is today, here on DSP Gaming, I'm going to upload the Level 1 podcast and this daily rap. Over on DSP Reacts, I will upload the video outlining my history as a YouTuber, and then I'll upload part 1 of that reacting content to the history, the moments that people had nominated. Now, tomorrow is my weekly React show, so I think what I'll do is tomorrow I'll have 2 parts of that show, and then the next part, the anniversary React. And I'll balance that out, so every day there's 1 or 2 videos from each over the course of the week. That way, that channel will not get flooded with an overabundance, crazy amount of content and videos. It'll be kind of a slow bleed kind of a deal. Or I guess I should say slow feed kind of a deal.
No, you got it right there, Phil. It's a slow bleed. And the reason why it's a slow bleed is because you have no content for this channel. Essentially, you do 1 show a week, and then you parse it out, you carve it out, and then just, bleed it to your dents to make it seem like you're actually producing content. Let's not forget, folks, that this channel was supposed to be a 3-pronged event channel. So you're supposed to have interviews, you're supposed to have long-form content every month, and then you were supposed to have the weekly show. 2 of those trees have been sent to ban world because they weren't producing any money whatsoever. So essentially what people are paying for memberships is for 1 show a week, which Phil parses out into 9 or 10 different pieces of content. old reused content essentially. Think about that. Nothing new. You know, he's simply pretty much gave up on doing reviews because no one was watching that. He never did an interview, and the long form content was ditched because he just wasn't getting enough tips and ad revenue for that. So yet again, it just shows that, you know, Phil is all about the bag. I know he claims he isn't, and he likes to do this, you know, likes to do this for fun and to interact with his chat. But we all know the thing that drives Phil the most is the money. And I'm pretty sure once the React content starts drying up, like today will be abysmal. Support will be abysmal today because, of course, the whales and his dents chipped in yesterday. To support the marathon, so they're going to be pretty much bled out and dried out. So I expect a very slow support day today for DSP Reacts. But you hit it right on the nail there, Phil. You're going to bleed out that content and try to milk it for as much as you can. Anyway, that's all I really have to say. I know he keeps going on about more React content, what he's doing today. No one really cares. But in summary, yeah, the marathon was pretty pathetic. I was shocked. I was surprised that Phil will take the tact of just sitting back, and he had this air of almost it's expected that people should donate because, of course, he's given so much to so many people in 15 years. You know, people should step up and give him money, and he did that with the podcast. He just sat back, really did maybe 15 minutes of content, and just read super chats and super thanks and tips. That's all he did. And then watching old React content for the whole day. I mean, I usually give him some credit because on other marathons he does 4 or 5 different things. Like he'll do the eating portion, he'll react, he'll do some gaming, he'll do several different tier maker. Yesterday, no, he just sat back and said, okay, I'm going to be doing minimal effort for maximum profit. And he really expected people were going to come out and wail out for him. And I think he was expecting anywhere between like $800 to $1,000 in tips. And then when that didn't happen, our boy Phil was not a happy camper. If you go and watch some of my content, some of the stuff that I clipped from yesterday, you can clearly see that Phil was very disappointed in what he pulled yesterday. And I also did a breakdown of what he's received for all of his special events this year, and you can just see a downward spiral. I mean, the fighting feasting where he ended up making $1,300 because one of his dents gave $1,000. I mean, he went from that down to $380 for this milestone marathon. Don't forget, this was a milestone event. You know, this is akin to like Phil having a kid, and him expecting to make massive amounts of money, and it just didn't happen. It came off with a whimper, and it was extremely boring. You would think that he would. Usually, when you do a celebration like this of a milestone, typically the viewer or a business usually gives back to their customers. They're like, "Hey, come out. I want to thank you guys for all the support. I want to thank you guys for being there. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do this." You know, and they typically give stuff to their viewers. I don't understand why he couldn't just do a little giveaway, you know, and tie it to the 15. He could have done $15 Amazon e-gift cards, which would have cost him nothing to ship. He could, you know, and he didn't need personal information, nothing. All he needed was an email, and he could have ordered a bunch of Amazon $15 gift cards and given them out to people. And that would have been a small gesture that just shows Phil appreciation. I think it would have gone a lot of good way to build goodwill, you know, on Phil's part. But no, Phil refuses to donate. He refuses to do anything for charity, and it's quite, you know. And I think a lot of people see that. Yeah, I mean, whenever I do a marathon or something special, I make sure that I give back to my community. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It's more the gesture. And Phil has still, after 15 years, not recognized that that goes a long way with building good faith with your community. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.